discovered or you stumbled upon through face-to-face meetings or whatever. But in the case of, for example, Arzu, what happened was, suddenly through a Google alert on Azerbaijan, I encounter a blog called Flying Carpets and Broken Pipelines. With such a fantastic name, how could I not click on that link? You know? And then when I get to it, not only that, it's probably, oh, what a great name, probably a really lousy blog. But when I actually went to the blog, I thought, wow, this is really, I never could have imagined this blog could have been, you know, so openly discussing many issues that need to be discussed in Azerbaijan, which were very similar to many of the issues that need to be openly discussed in Armenia as well. And so I sent an email, no, I think I left a comment, and she's gone moderation her comment, and I was like, yeah, let's see if she approves the comment. And she's probably regretting approving that comment now, but she did.
Every once in a while.
But she did, and then I sent her an email, and she's also regretting responding to that email, I'm sure.
No comment.
So anyway, so the point is, you know, and then we were communicating via Skype or via chat, or adding each other on Facebook. And then through communication, open communication through Facebook, suddenly you stumble upon someone else who's liberal, open, tolerant, progressive. You know, and suddenly you have a new world that's open up to you, of contacts that you can never have really managed to attain otherwise, previously. Oh, Arpine, where are you? Arpine. This is a quote from a report that Arpine actually wrote. So take a bow, stand up and please take a bow before the...
CRC work, not just me.
So Caucasus Resource Center did a report on media bias in Armenia and Azerbaijan as it relates to the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. And what they discovered, effectively, was that the media actually likes doing this sort of thing. It's expected to do this sort of thing. And the sort of concerns that were raised by focus groups in each country was that, you know, you shouldn't be neutral, you shouldn't be objective. This is a war and we should be combatants too. This is not the role of media, in my opinion. In anyone's opinion, I would imagine. And secondly, it's not very conducive towards peace. So here's one of the, you know, the quotes, and it's very obvious. This is very logical. Do you want peace or not? Well, first of all, let's try and work out how are we going to resolve this issue. A negative context is set in the public consciousness which hinders dialogue and mutual understanding. Without more accurate and unbiased information, free of negative rhetoric and stereotypes, Armenians and Azerbaijanis will continue to see themselves as enemies without any common ground. And it's obvious. So what Arzu and I effectively tried to do was to try and openly make people understand this. Actually, we didn't try and openly make people understand this. We just naturally wanted to communicate. And we naturally wanted to communicate with our friends and see our friends also communicate with other friends, which indirectly challenges the very notion that the media was actually trying to perpetuate, which is the image of the enemy on the other side. Arzu is not my enemy. It's very simple. Arpine from Armenia.
You're not my enemy either.
Well, you see, I'm kind of a British citizen, so it's not really the same. But Arpine is from Armenia, and she's not Arzu's enemy either.
I was happy to meet Arzu today.
Are you enemies? I'm not sure. I should check my facts first. Are you enemies or?
No. We're not.
Let's hope it stays like that.
No. Yeah.
You know, and actually, the more and more I was looking at the interaction between Armenians and Azerbaijanis, the more and more I see exactly that Armenians and Azerbaijanis have so much in common. Culturally, even linguistically, because of Persian influence. In terms of cultural traditions, you can really see that there is a lot of overlaps. In terms of mentality, some people say that Armenians and Azerbaijanis have more in common with each other than, say, Armenians and Georgians or Azerbaijanis and Georgians. You know, so this is another negative stereotype, that you know, Armenians and Azerbaijanis are made to think of the other side as being something totally different, when in reality, you can even see it in Georgia, where Armenians and Azerbaijanis naturally co-inhabit and live side by side together. This is a reality, but this reality is not necessarily understood in Armenia or Azerbaijan. Now, I work for an organization called Global Voices, and our director wrote a report on the use of new and social media in conflict transformation and conflict resolution. And it's true All these new tools have been used up until this point for perpetuating negative propaganda, information wars, hacking wars, you name it. But what's been happening over the past year has been really promising in so much that people are starting to use this for peaceful means, for engaging the other side in dialogue, for realizing in actual fact there isn't really the other side, there's just people. This is a huge transformation in mentality for at least a small group of people. And this is very encouraging for me. And the irony is there's a journalist, oh no, I've already gone past that quote, sorry about this. But Ivan reckons, and I totally agree with him, these tools now offer an unprecedented capability for crossing the information blockade. I don't think I can ring Arzu in Baku without someone monitoring my call. I heard yesterday a story whereby someone rang Yerevan from Baku and then actually had their window smashed in by an anti-terrorist squad who then took him away and told him never ring Yerevan again. And I think he probably won't use the telephone again after that. But with Skype, I can communicate with Arzu, I can communicate with a lot of people without anyone knowing, and also without monitoring. You know, these new tools are unprecedented, and they should be encouraged. You know, and also there's another issue here as well, is these new tools, okay, we're using them, but I also believe there should be encouragement of the media in both countries to start using these things. I did an online interview with Arzu via Skype, and we basically published it on Transitions Online. Thank you, Andy, for publishing it. You know, a 20-minute interview over Skype, which we basically put as a podcast on the Transitions Online website. Now, if I can do an interview with Arzu in Baku, why can't a journalist do an interview with someone? Or at the very least, why can't I check my facts with someone? You know, there's not a lot of fact-checking amongst Armenian and Azerbaijani journalists, and what may be speculation or gossip or rumor or total misinformation is often reproduced without even checking to see if it's true or not in the first place. These new tools allow for very quick verification of stories, of facts, which obviously helps reduce any tensions that may emerge from the spread of misinformation and propaganda. And, you know, there's been some positive things. I want to talk about this because I love these two tweets that actually happened after Adnan Hajizadeh and Emin Milli, two video blogging youth activists, were detained in Azerbaijan. There was on the All Azerbaijani Youth Movement blog, one of the activists did a long written piece talking about Adnan Hajizadeh. And she started it off by quoting the lyrics from System of a Down, which is an Armenian-American rock band. And the opposition movement in Armenia saw that article and instantly set out a tweet. Azerbaijani All movement uses song of US Armenian band to voice injustice. Bravo, we can live together. Less than 140 characters, but one of the most telling comments I've ever seen in my life, in the past year, probably, with regards to Armenian-Azerbaijani relations. At the same time that Hajizadeh and Milli were actually detained in Azerbaijan, a youth activist from the opposition movement in Armenia was detained in Yerevan. Again, another tweet, which I could never have imagined ever seeing in my life, was an Azerbaijani girl who linked to a story about him being detained, is referring also to Adnan Hajizadeh and Emin Milli and saying the similarity between our countries seems to be in all the wrong places. For me, this is totally, I don't know, this is unprecedented. Just through something like Twitter. Okay, now it doesn't have much of a reach. But if you were to ask me a year ago, could I have imagined things like this being so open? I would have said no. But it's happening. It's happening on Facebook. It's happening on blogs. Right?